work his way through recovery.
At the end of the day, it's all me, you know? It's all who I am, and I have to embrace all of it.
And extreme weather is expected tonight. We'll tell you when the worst of it will hit next on Murrow News 8.
From the Northwest Public Broadcasting Studios on the campus of Washington State University, this is Murrow News 8.
Good afternoon, I'm Derek Joseph.
And I'm Daniela Julio Cano. Thanks so much for joining us on Murrow News 8.
The Cub is hosting the Cougs for Recovery art show until November 15th. Murrow News 8 reporter Aaron Monson took a deeper look into the exhibit.
At the end of the day, it's all me, you know? It's all who I am, and I have to embrace all of it.
This is Emmett Bursgornia, better known around the WSU community as BG. He's a member of Cougs for Recovery, a support group on campus that provides a welcoming community and engaging support for students in recovery, for students who are contemplating recovery, and for those who are allies.
As a student at Washington State University, you might find yourself inside the Cub at some point before November 15th. If you go in the entrance by the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art, you'll find the By Light and By Darkness Cougs for Recovery art exhibition.
Art has always been like this, highest elite kind of thing. I guess I kind of learned with Cougs Recovery just on those art nights that it can be chill and you don't have to form fit and you can just be yourself, I guess.
BG had one word that described the artists who were on display.
Diverse. Just looking around, everything's different. Nothing's the same. I like that about this. Everyone's normal. Even whatever battle you're fighting, you're still a human being and you still have conscious, creative thoughts.
BG has two paintings in the exhibition, both of which have their own name and meaning.
They're complex, to say the least. The first one, Liquids of Life, I had some challenges my second semester, to say the least. And my job put me in interesting positions, and it affected me. And then I had some friends this year that passed on. As that painting enters the third dimension while I'm practicing an impasto method, emotions are my fourth. It feels like you have liquid that's just in you, that consumes you, that empties you out. There are other messages in it that I don't think I can process right now. The second one, the little guy, the one that it gives me a little bit of hope and joy, is pro and confusion. I have a lot of thoughts that bounce around and race around in my mind, some dark, some light, and I try to bring the light out, and hopefully that piece kind of conveys that. The other reason why that one is a little 5x7 is I'm just a drop in the bucket. Yes, it is me, but I didn't want to put me on this big plate. I'm just a little canvas.
BG also wants everyone to approach these pieces with patience and an open mind.
You looking at it, you're not going to get that right off the bat, and I don't want you to. That's the main purpose of these pieces, is to help whoever needs them, and that was the main driving spirit, was just I have my reasons behind it, but hopefully someone else will.
In Pullman, I'm Aaron Monson, Murrow News 8.
The Washington Idaho Symphony will host a performance of their 51st season this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. in the University of Idaho Auditorium. The performance will feature Malaysian composer and Fulbright scholar Yi Ka Ho. Martin King, the Washington Idaho Symphony's assistant professor of horn and music education at WSU, will also be featured, so make sure you don't miss this event. Student workers at WSU have successfully formed a union. Academy student employees say they power WSU's learning and research mission, but often struggle to make ends meet while making their way through the higher education career pipeline. Earlier this week, the majority of 1,500 ASEs voted in favor of forming. It was confirmed by the Washington State Public Employment Relations Commission, and final certification is expected next week.
As of this morning, the National Weather Service has issued a high wind warning on the Palouse. The watch runs from this afternoon to Sunday morning, with wind speeds reaching from 30 miles an hour with gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So be careful walking to class. You don't want to be hit by any down trees. And With this abrupt change in seasons, wearing the proper clothing is essential. Daniela Julio-Cano has the solution for many families in need.
Helping people and allowing families to save money is Travis Vate's goal. Travis Vates is the coordinator for the Pullman Child Welfare Coat Drive. Vates and his wife became coordinators for the coat drive 11 years ago.
Having that coat, I really believe, helps them put those money that is in their budget toward other things.
Pullman Child Welfare mainly distributes food to help families in the Pullman school districts. But as the cold weather comes in, it is time to collect coats. A few businesses partner with Pullman Child Welfare to have bins inside their location to collect coats. The businesses that take part in this are 4-Star Supply, Columbia Bank, Walmart, Neil's Coffee and Ice Cream, Umpqua Bank, Caldwell Banker Tomlinson, Pullman Building Supply, and Washington Trust Bank. Coats are collected once a week from these locations to get checked and cleaned to be ready for distribution. Pullman Child Welfare will be collecting coats until December 1st. If you are in need of a coat, you can come to their location and pick one up. Sign-up forms to receive a coat can be found on the Pullman Child Welfare website.
Between 6 and 7 people, I would say, coming in to get coats, and they may have a family of 4, right? So 4 coats would go home with them.
Vates also contacts the schools in Pullman to help get coats to students that are in need. With this drive, Vates has been able to understand people's needs and get the message of helping others out to the public. From Pullman, Daniela Julio-Cano, Murrow, News 8.
WSU campuses are hosting election hubs to help students and members of the community learn more about the election process. Participants will have the opportunity to check their voter registration status and register if needed. The Pullman campus will host its election hub on November 7th from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., November 8th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the Cubs Senior Ballroom. 3 men have been sentenced to more than a decade in federal prison for distributing fentanyl in Washington and other states. The court documents stated the men used Snapchat and other social media to locate a source of supply in Mexico. The investigation on the 3 men began in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, after a 15-year-old high school student overdosed on fentanyl. Coming up, running for a U.S. Senate position could really put a dent in your bank account.
There's also new businesses in downtown Pullman that all have something in common. Find out what that is next on Murrow News 8.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but... Wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision... Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah! Invent...
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
It's okay to be scared. You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Look who's here. There she is. Hey, thanks for your patience.
How you feel?
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 1-877-333-5885.
Downtown Pullman has a few new woman-owned businesses on the block. Our reporter Allison Martinez took a visit to give us more information.
But to be really clear, it should have been happening all along, right? It shouldn't actually be newsworthy.
This is how Candace, the owner of Terracotta Pottery Studio, feels about the new female-owned businesses that debuted in the Market Square late this summer. The 4 businesses hosted a joint grand opening earlier this month.
And so to see all of these women, 3 of us stepping into our own for the first time together at the same time, just by coincidence, is super, super cool.
Candace moved back and forth from Pullman 3 times before she decided to settle in for the long haul. When Candace Baltz returned to Pullman this summer, she opened Terracotta Pottery Studio. Coincidentally, before she returned, she lived in these apartments right up here.
We were able to open this place in less than a month.
A WSU graduate, Candace says she's collected mentors over the years that have made a profound impact on her life.
And locally, I've got amazing, strong, independent women, mentors they're why I came back to Pullman.
According to Candace, the community built in the market square is truly irreplaceable.
I think there's something really unique about a female energy and an empowering energy that is celebrative in nature, right? And that looks at collaboration as opposed to competition.
Apart from the support found within, the market square has been feeling the love throughout Pullman, notably including the Chamber of Commerce.
I am so excited to see 1, new businesses, 2, women-owned businesses, and 3, the energy that has been put in that Market Square building.
I really think that we're all capable of a lot more than we realize, and I think that is where we've got the potential to actually change the world.
Reporting from downtown Pullman, I'm Allison Martinez for Murrow News 8.
We are 4 days away from election night, as Republican candidate Tiffany Smiley and Democrat Senator Patty Murray hope to extend their voter turnout. Collectively, both candidates have spent over $36 million during their campaigns. According to Dr. Aaron Heitfield, an associate professor at Whitworth University, says it is how they spend that money, along which voters they target, that make the biggest difference. Both candidates continue to travel across Washington campaigning through Election Day.
This Tuesday is election night, and Washington's vote-by-mail system has had some of the highest voter turnouts in the nation. Here are the key races you need to know. Washington's top race is between Democratic Senator Patty Murray, who is seeking a 6th term, against Republican Tiffany Smiley, who is the first-time candidate. Secretary of State is also up for grabs this cycle, as Steve Hobbs hopes to maintain the seat after he was appointed after Republican Kim Wyman resigned to join the Biden administration. Finally, incumbents from all 10 of Washington's congressional districts are being challenged. Ballots must be postmarked by Election Day or returned to a ballot box by 8 p.m. to be counted.
With Election Day 4 days away, WSU is doing its part to get students to vote. Murrow News 8's Albert James has more.
For Interim Director Ben Calabretta, voting is a big part of the mission of the Center for Civic Engagement.
We consider Cougs to be leaders, and voting and caring about your community and having a voice in that community and policies that's being made is a part of being a leader.
According to data from the Secretary of State's office, 426,000 voters in Washington are between the ages of 18 and 24. And just 1 week out from the election, it's estimated that only 29,000 of their ballots have been returned. In the weeks leading up to the midterms, the CCE has been tabling to get the word out. On Monday and Election Day Tuesday, they'll have a student voting hub where you can register to vote, cast a ballot, or just get more information on the election. And even if you're voting somewhere else in the state, the hub has got you covered.
Regardless of where they're registered in Washington, they can still use the voting hub to make sure that that gets done.
So you cast your ballot at the voting hub or just filled it out at home. But where does it go after that? If you're voting in Whitman County, it comes to the Elections Office in Colfax. County Auditor Sandy Jamison says ballots go through a deliberate step-by-step process to protect the voter, their vote, and the overall count. From envelope opening to ballot counting, the public is entitled to observe it all.
Our job is to securely, accurately, and transparently tabulate the ballots and produce accurate results.
Jamison herself is on the ballot this year, but says she has only stepped into the processing room as an observer, never to touch a ballot. It'll take time to officially certify results of the election, but Jamison says being able to speak through your vote is crucial to making an impact.
If you want to, instigate any change in any system throughout your life, you need to first be part of that system, and you need to first be part of that election and understand that process.
Still need more information?
Whether you're registered yet or not, whether you need more information about who to vote for, or you're just not sure how the process works, you should come down to the Student Voting Hub at the Cub.
Reporting from Pullman, Albert James, Murrow News 8.
Wind, rain, and snow. It's time to suit up, Cougs. The weather that you woke up to this morning is going to start becoming the new normal.
Our weather person, Jonah Oakleaf, has the insights you need to be prepared for these upcoming conditions. Coming up after the break.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Well, Jonah, my shoes are still wet from walking up into this studio because of this weather. I'm getting sick of it.
And I miss the sun.
Yeah, well, me too. It certainly was quite the wet and cold morning on the Palouse. Let's head over to the weather wall. I'll tell you what you can expect for the rest of the week. So today's look like we're having a low in 35, highs in the high 40s. Now, it did snow last night, and with the rain, there's a bit of slush going down the sidewalk, so be careful. Don't slip on your way to class. I wouldn't invest in boots at this point in time as we are in the winter season. And if not boots, I got those bear tracks for my shoes, just with a little stud so I don't eat it on the way to class, which is always quite the spectacle. Tomorrow, we are going to see more rain, again with those highs dancing around the 40s and lows dancing around the high 20s, low 30s. We won't see snow until tomorrow now. Let's go to the state map real quick. Looks like it's a pretty rainy day for Washington. Seattle, Olympia, everything on the west side looks like we're having highs in the 50s. Going to Pullman on the eastern side, again, rainy everywhere. So make sure you bundle up. Let's go to the 5-day forecast. So rain until Monday. Sunday we do have snow. That's all I have for sports. When we come back, Reese Holmes has your sports on Murrow News 8.
You can achieve a lot using your imagination. I mean, I don't like to brag, but wait, who's that? And why is she all over these achievement awards? But with STEM, the sky's the limit. Shaboom! Use STEM to envision. Okay, I'm seeing it. Yeah. Invent.
Got any ideas?
I've got a few, actually. And create a better world.
Told you she's super smart.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
It's okay to be scared. You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Look who's here. There she is. Thanks for your patience.
How you feel?
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 1-877-333-5885.
God, let me tell you guys, with the weather that we've been seeing, trudging through that sludge on the way over here,
I am super jealous of our football team who gets to spend the weekend down in Cali as they take on Stanford tomorrow afternoon. The two teams will be going head-to-head with a 12:30 p.m. kickoff, and the Cougs are gunning for one of the last 2 wins that they would need for bowl eligibility.
You know, in tough positions, right? So there's no excuses. You know, whoever we put back there and however we shape it, they got to be ready to go.
I mean, if we just look at the history between these two teams, it certainly seems like this win could happen. I mean, as WSU has taken on Stanford before and has had their number since 2015, winning the last 5 matchups, and 2 of those were even at the Cardinals' own Stanford Stadium. Some of the players to keep an eye on, though, are, of course, the Cougar quarterback Cam Ward, who has averaged 273 passing yards a game and thrown 17 touchdown passes this season. And, of course, linebacker Deion Henley, who has been named a Butkus Awards semifinalist and the first Cougar to do so in history. And not for no reason, as he's been absolutely killing it this season, ranking 2nd in the Pac-12 with 80 tackles. So tune in to show your Cougar football team some love. And while we're on the topic of football, the last game we hosted here on campus happened on a Thursday. Murrow News 8 reporter Noah Bolter was curious to see if this had any academic impacts. Here's what he found.
A sound that many around the Palouse know, the sound of football. Most games are played on Saturdays, which is perfect for students because they don't have any classes. But what happens when there's a game in the middle of the school week?
There were 13 out of the 35 students not present in the Thursday night lab.
A graduate student instructor that teaches a weekly class that students can only miss 1 session of all semester. One student that didn't have class during the game says that he skipped it for a different reason.
I had a little bit of homework. It was tough because, all my friends went. I just wasn't able to, so it's a bummer.
But poor attendance wasn't the only problem that students faced with the Thursday night home game. Others had to deal with game day parking.
Well, if I'm going to have difficulties getting here, how are my students going to get here?
Even if you found a way to get to and from your classes the night of the game. Even if you used your 1 free pass to attend the game. You still have to get up the next morning for classes.
I didn't make it to the first class.
Neither did many of their classmates.
A lower attendance than normal, for sure.
Half or less.
All the students that I spoke to say that empty seats changed the classroom environment.
Less engaging with the classmates.
I feel like it's disheartening.
It's a lot quieter, and there's a lot less discussion going on, like with what we're talking about.
Nick says that he wants to go to every game that he can.
Just being right in the middle of the week, it does get a little tough.
Both students and teachers that I spoke with agree that there is a better time for games than during the work week.
Definitely the weekends.
With videographer Gabriel Del Rosario in Pullman, I'm Noah Bolter.
Interesting stuff. I know I always hate missing a game, but school is more important. But pivoting from Giesa Field to Lower Field, WSU soccer will be ending their regular season tonight, and we sent our reporter Kathleen Rowley down to the field to give us a look at what the conditions for tonight's match might look like. Kat, what are we seeing out there?
Well, it's a little cold and very rainy outside. There's a wind advisory going to come into effect later today, but right now I'm standing at a very snow-covered lower soccer field. Tonight the Cougs and the Huskies are going to play each other in an Apple Cup matchup. I think the Cougs are going to pull it off, but if this wind and rain keeps up, I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, that's what I have for you guys. Back to the desk. I'm Kathleen Rowley, Murrow News 8.
Thank you so much, Kat. Soccer will be playing tonight at 7 p.m., so make sure not to miss that one. Moving over to basketball. Basketball fans, we are getting so close to the start of the basketball season. On Monday, the WSU men's basketball team will be facing Texas State at 4:30 p.m. in Beasley Coliseum. The last time these schools faced each other was back in 2015, with WSU winning 78-73. Of course, a lot has changed since 2015, so make sure you don't miss this home opener. The women's basketball team is also opening their season Monday at noon. The Cougs held an exhibition on October 30th against Westmont and won 64-40 with a standout performance from senior Bella Murakatete, who collected a double-double with 26 points and 10 rebounds. The Cougs are set to face Loyola Marymount University on Monday. These teams have faced each other twice, with WSU winning both times. And I hope everybody at home is getting appropriately hyped for the upcoming basketball season. I know some Coug fans are, and I got a chance to show it at this year's Zoomania. Reporter Derek Joseph got a chance to talk to these fans and get their reactions.
It was a cool experience to see both squads out.
After another Zoomania, WSU fans got their first look at this season's men's and women's basketball teams. The crowd showed up to Bowler Gym to see some of the new faces of both teams. Along with some familiar ones before the start of the 2022-23 season. While both teams showed off their skills, it got fans like Brendan Potts excited for the season ahead.
You know, I think we got two good squads here. Men's team is looking good, you know, and then the women's team, you know, goal is 3 straight, and I really believe this team can do it, and you know, other Coug fans need to believe like I do.
Zoomania was a great event where both basketball teams showcased their skills and gave fans a good preview for next season. The highlights of Zoomania came from the skills competition won by Carlos Rosario and the three-point competition won by DJ Rodman.
Honestly, I wasn't surprised. I wanted. I can't believe I'm being James. James is one of the best shooter on our team. I was happy to win.
Both the men and the women's basketball teams start their seasons with a doubleheader at Beasley Coliseum Monday, November 7th. Reporting in Pullman, I'm Derek Joseph, Murrow News 8.
Unfortunately, that's all I have time for sports, but we will be right back with you all here on Murrow News 8.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Listen, you're my friend.
I noticed you haven't really been yourself recently.
Yeah, I feel like something's up.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I just want to know how you're feeling.
And listen, even if you don't know what to say, I'm here to talk.
No matter what you're going through,
I just want you to know I'm here.
I've got your back.
when you want to talk, I'm here.
Today is National Candy Day, and I figured we could all just talk about our favorite candy. I know personally for me, I love a good Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. What about the rest of you?
I really love my Sour Patch Kids.
I mean, I'm right there with you, Derek. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, I just have to say, they're sublime.
Skittles are the way to go, in my opinion. Those have always been my favorite Halloween staple, I think.
Skittles are really good. I used to eat them like during like baseball games and stuff like that, just because I felt like I was Marshawn Lynch or something like that.
I forgot about that actually. Good callback.
Yeah, so that was always really fun. So thank you so much for watching today. If you missed this or anything in any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
More information can be found at nwpb.org/mn8, and you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night.